Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the old Jonesborough Cemetery. And in celebration of Constitution Week, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the grave sites of American Revolution Patriots. Now, when you hear the word American Revolution Patriot, your first reaction would be a male soldier, and maybe even looking a little bit like I'm dressed now. If you actually look into the Daughters of the American Revolution and Sons of the American Revolution application processes, you'll find that the patriot definition is a little bit broader than that. Maybe a doctor who tended to the needs of injured soldiers, he could be a patriot. Perhaps a merchant who provided provisions to hungry and tired soldiers, he could be a patriot. Maybe even somebody like the average person opened his farmhouse and welcomed tired and weary and scared soldiers and gave them a place to sleep and a little bit of safety. He would be a patriot. Now, one of the things that, because of the time lag, most patriots are dead at least 200 plus years ago, and that makes finding the graves quite difficult. Back in that time, sometimes graves weren't even marked. If they were marked, it may have been a modest marker that has long passed to time. There are instances where old markers have had new markers placed next to them, and there's also markers, newer markers that have been placed in memory of unknown locations that we know the name but not where the person is buried. So in just a second here, we're going to walk back behind me and I will introduce you to Robert Patton, who is our only known American Revolution patriot buried here at Rocky Hill. All right, everyone, we're over here by the grave site of Robert Patton. Sometimes some folks will pronounce the last name Patton, but most of the time Patton is the generally accepted pronunciation. Now, if you look at this particular marker here, it is a granite marker that was placed in September of 2000. And if you look at the inscription at the bottom, it was placed by a Daughters of the American Revolution chapter, and the member of the chapter that was responsible for this is a descendant. And this particular marker is in the family square here at Rocky Hill. And something that throws a little puzzle up to us once in a while is, if you look at his death date, February of 1828, if you were cast your eye around the property, you'd say, oh, that's kind of normal. But as you do research, it's kind of important to dig just a little bit deeper. Now, this particular marker does not actually mark the body of where Robert is buried. And the reason we know that, or reasonably believe it, is that this property was not actually deeded graveyard until about 1850. So Robert had been dead for 25 years before this even became graveyard. Now, the chances of bodies being moved back in that era would have been very, very slim. We have no indication that that ever happened. However, in just a second here, we'll pan back across behind the marker, and you'll see the older section of the property that was originally deeded in 1803. So those of us that have researched Robert a little bit feel that he's buried on the property somewhere. We just don't know precisely where. Now, in just a second, the camera will pan across that back section, and off in the distance, you'll see an area beyond the fence where there's very, very few markers. And that's where we really believe Robert's buried. Now, what's the takeout out of this? You never really know. And some might say, does it really even matter? We're paying tribute to those American Revolution patriots who fought and died, and that led to the constitutional republic that we are part of today. And that is very, very important. And I'm going to toss a challenge out to everybody. If you have read the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, reread it during this week. If you have not read it before, read the Constitution and the Bill of Rights during this time, and appreciate the history and the sacrifices that were made so that the United States of America could become what it has become. If you have any interesting other questions, you can contact us at Heritage Alliance 423-753-9580 or at the Chester Inn Museum 423-753-4580.